But I would like to think that we could redshirt the majority of these players. Now, the guys that came in at midterm, that's a different situation. We need to get them ready to play. But most of your offensive linemen, they're going to redshirt. Sometimes you get a defensive player that can do it. Sometimes you get a safety or a wideout that can do it. I'm going to guess that Clint Shelf's going to redshirt at the quarterback position. Jeremy Smith may play. Dexter Pratt, who's here now, is 225 pounds, and he's going to line up at running back. He may be 240 before we show up in August. Time he eats at our training table and gets with Rob Glass for another 7 months, so he may be ready to play. Just have to wait and see. They all have skill. We like where they're all at. I really like Daquan Lowe from Carl Albert. I mean, I like where he's at. I like his body. I like his intelligence. I like the program he came from. Gary Rose does a tremendous job there at Carl Albert. He may be ready to play safety for us. And sometimes it depends on what you have, like the safety position. He may have a little bit more of advantage than Clint Shelf does at quarterback.
Do people like Smith and Tracy Moore coming from a program like you get in the competition and the facilities they have, do they have an advantage coming in and maybe playing earlier?
No question. I think that Brady Bond, coming from an 8-man program, needed more time here than maybe Jeremy does, or Tracy being at Union and winning as many games as he did and being in a program where there's a number of coaches out there with him every day. They have an off-season program that's in place, and they always have an advantage in that area. I think at times, though, there may be players that play early in their career that aren't as good as the ones that redshirt and don't play till their third year. Just depends on how they progress and develop as a person and where they're at with their body. There always used to be that talk in recruiting. You had to be careful to bring a player in from a program that's really good because he may be 2 or 3 years ahead physically versus a player that comes in from a program that doesn't have as much. And what you want is the guys that are going to develop when they're in college. So we're excited about Tracy and we're excited about Jeremy. And we hope that where they're at now, we can continue on and their bodies will develop over their career here and they'll get stronger and faster.
Only one quarterback on this list. Is that kind of by design? I've heard coaches saying they want to try to bring in one quarterback every year. Is that kind of
in most cases what you like to do? We'd like to have 4 here on scholarship and always have a couple guys walk on in our program and try to prove us wrong as coaches and that we missed on them. We don't have that now. We don't have as many guys on scholarship. But if you bring more than one guy in a class, and I'm not saying that couldn't happen, I think the trend is what you're seeing now is after a year or two, one of them end up doing what? End up going the other way because you only play one guy at that position. And so they says, well, I'm a redshirt sophomore and he's a sophomore or he's a junior. I'm his backup, so I need to go somewhere and play. So that's why for us, we'll bring in one a year. But if you get a guy injured or a guy leaves or something happens or you don't feel good about what you have, then you may have to bring in 2.
Do you see Clint, redshirt this year and then?
I don't think there's any question that he'll redshirt. Yeah, the development of him and who he is, and we think he's a great prospect for what we do. We like him. We think he's a good runner. He's 200 pounds right now. He's going to probably get to 215. We like what he does. We like where he comes back. I like his substance. I like his personality. I like his toughness. And we'll see where he's at in 2 years.
What about the wide receiver class, Coach? How do you perceive them being these guys that have got big playability like the receivers that have been here in the past with the Romans and the Bryants and the Woods?
Michael Harrison was a great player that we picked up, a great pickup for us. I'm not going to say he's a great player. He was a great pickup for us late. If you watch his tape, he's very skilled. He's 199 pounds right now. He's potentially a 215-pound athlete. He'll be 6'2", barefoot. Got good hands, good body control. He's tough. Ran the ball a lot in high school, caught the ball a lot, and was physical. So we like where he's at. There's a spot for him in our offense. He could play X over there by himself where Dez does, or he could play that slot receiver where Bowman did because of his size. Flexibility, could do either. We like to bring guys like that in. Charlie Moore is a wide out that we brought in from East Texas, played quarterback and has played some other positions. Very athletic. He's 6'2", 200. He's going to be 210, 215 by the time it's all said and done himself. He's got good hands, good body control. He's tough, He's taken a lot of hits, and so he's a guy that could play several positions for us. And then, we talk about Tracy Moore. Tracy's a hybrid for us. Tracy's 230 pounds right now. So he could, if he stays at 230, 235 and keeps up his speed, he plays that position we had with Bowman. If he gets to 245, 250, he plays out there a little bit, moves in at tight end some, plays in the backfield some. We can motion him some like we did here with the offense when Les was here. Coach Miles was here. There's a lot of things we can do with a guy like that. So those are the three wideouts we took, and that's kind of how we see him.
Dexter Pratt's story is kind of interesting. He kind of explained how all that happened and kind of developed late for you guys.
Yeah, Dexter, it was a unique situation. I'm not sure how all that transpired. I just know that he showed up here and got in school, and I was happy that we could get him in school, because once we got him in school, it locked him in. But we're very excited to have Dexter. We recruited Dexter at this time last year. A long time ago. He early committed to LSU, and I'm not sure what happened down there. And we had got the phone call that he was interested in coming up here, but he had to be in school right away, and there was a lot of issues there, and it worked out. And our compliance people did a tremendous job in making sure they crossed all their T's and dotted their I's and getting him ready to get in school here and get enrolled. And he's a great young man. You guys will really look forward to visiting with him in a year, and you'll get to know him as a person, and you'll see why we were so attracted to him.
You think he can step in next year and get some carries? Because it looks like you always got on the crowded backfield.
Yeah, it's pretty crowded back there, but he is 6'2", and he is 225 pounds. So he has an advantage in being big. Like Jeremy. We talked about Jeremy. Jeremy's 205 pounds right now, so Jeremy's going to be 215. So will they be physical enough? Certainly. Now, how they pick the system up, can they stay healthy throughout August to get all the reps they need in order to prepare to play enough plays to make it an advantage for us and for them? Not sure, but certainly have the body to do that.
You see a lot of programs with the multi-run guys have that short yardage back. Is that something you see him fitting that role with his body size?
Well, he should with his body size, but now he can go. We played a guy out here in the Holiday Bowl that was that size, and he pounded us in the fourth quarter. And I kind of visualized him doing that. I see him at 235 and still having some breakaway. Now, I'm not saying he's going to have the 4.4 breakaway, but, I see him as a guy that eventually could weigh 235 or 240 and still run 4.6 or under, which is moving pretty good.
How did things change on the recruiting trail with all the coaching turnover? It didn't seem like it affected the class.
Well, it did affect us from a standpoint of you have relationships that are built, guys that have been in touch with these players for 10 months, and then you have a coaching change. We were just fortunate enough that we had enough maturity and experience on our staff. Our assistant coaches had done it enough. They know how to overcome it. They were able to get back into school. They were able to talk to the family, talk to the player. Nothing's changed here. You were being recruited by this coach, but ultimately you were interested in this school. You were interested in this team. You were interested in living in these facilities. You're interested in working out in this new West End Zone. You were interested in living in Stillwater. None of that's changed. The only thing that's changed is in our profession, guys move around a lot. So if you liked all those things and you had a great feel for Oklahoma State, that really shouldn't change. And this is one thing that we use in recruiting here. Coach Gundy's going to be here. He's not interested in taking another job. So that's one guarantee you have, that as long as Coach Gundy's here, we're going to have the system in place, and that's going to stay the same. That's one advantage in looking at or signing at Oklahoma State. You don't have to worry about 2 years into my career. We won 9 games, we won 10 games, and my head coach left and went to another school, and I go through a transition. So I think that continuity was more exciting to the players than maybe a change in a coaching staff. But we would always like to have all the coaches in place throughout the process. Makes it much easier.
Speaking of coaches, are you pretty happy with how the new guys have meshed in? Robert Matthews obviously been around here for a while, but Gillespie and Bill Young now.
Well, I think they're great. Our first criteria, and I've said this, was we bring in guys that have high character. Second thing is we know when we check their history that they care about the players as people, not just as athletes. And then we bring in guys we think fit our system, and X and O's are advantage for us in football. And so these guys met all those qualifications, and we're very excited about them. Bill Young is a quiet guy. I haven't heard him say anything all week in the meetings, which I guess is good. That's opposite of Beck, I guess. We heard Beck talked all the time. So that'll cut me some slack on the right side of my meeting room there in the staff room. But for the most part, they seem to be great additions. So everybody's familiar with Robert and what he brings, and then Gillespie comes in very, very highly regarded and has been first class for us and is doing a great job. And those guys have a lot of work right now. Bill Young's got a long ways to go to catch up to what we're doing here and try to incorporate his system in what we're trying to accomplish here with our personnel. And obviously Gillespie's got a lot of offense to learn because the system he came from is considerably different than the system we have here.